Africa is a continent full of great men and women who have greatly impacted the world positively. One of such individuals was a man by the name of Yasuke. Yes, you heard me right. A black African man who lived in Japan during the 16th century and is said to have been the first black person to set foot in Japan and also the first black samurai. His story is an amazing one, so amazing that even Hollywood is trying to produce a movie about his life. Welcome back to our channel, Afrorize TV. Today, we are going to be looking at the incredible true story of Yasuke, the African samurai. Let's begin. Yasuke was born in Mozambique, a country located on the southeast coast of Africa. Very little is known about his early life, except that he probably spent most of it in Mozambique before being sold into slavery in Egypt. It is unclear when exactly he was born, or if his birth records were lost in history. But historians believe he may have been born around the year 1530 or somewhere around that time. In those days, Arab slavers frequently raided the eastern coast of Africa, taking prisoners inland to be sold in the slave markets of North Africa. Back then, the North African slave trade was primarily conducted by Arabs who had mastered the art of sailing the Mediterranean Sea. They traveled all the way to the East African coast, where they traded various goods for slaves. These included iron bars, copper, cowrie shells, and textiles. Once they had acquired enough captives, they sailed them across the Sahara Desert to the Middle East and North Africa. And it is believed that this is how Yasuke was taken from Mozambique to Egypt. It is said that when Yasuke arrived in Egypt, he was sold to a Portuguese merchant, and it was here that he converted to Christianity. At this time, the Portuguese had already established themselves in many parts of Africa, Asia, and South America. Through their trading posts along the African coast, they transported enslaved people to South America and also transported African raw materials to Europe. So it was not unusual for someone like Yasuke to be in Egypt at the time. However, what made him stand out from the rest was his physical appearance. As a man of African origin with dark skin, it is very possible that he attracted a lot of attention wherever he went. At the time, Egypt was under the rule of Ottoman Empire, and it was during his time in Egypt that Yasuke learned how to read and write. He also picked up the Arabic language, which must have helped him to survive and find work amongst the Arab population. He ended up working as an interpreter for the Portuguese, which later gave him the opportunity to travel to different parts of the world. It is reported that Yasuke accompanied a Portuguese ship to India, but while in India, he deserted the ship and joined a Japanese vessel. Historians say that Yasuke's decision to join the Japanese ship was probably influenced by a Japanese missionary named Anjiro, who played a major role in bringing Christianity to Japan. It has been suggested that Anjiro had persuaded Yasuke to come with him to Japan, so he could help spread the Christian message there. However, while in Japan, Yasuke did not become a preacher, rather he became a samurai. The exact year Yasuke arrived in Japan is not known, but he's believed to have reached Japan sometime around 1579. This was during the Sengoku period, which was a turbulent time in Japanese history, characterized by constant warfare and power struggles among various feudal lords. By 1582, Oda Nobunaga had become the most powerful ruler in Japan, but he was always on the lookout for brave and skilled warriors to join his army. When he saw Yasuke for the first time, Oda Nobunaga was stunned by his imposing stature and dark skin. Standing at over 6 feet tall, Yasuke looked very different from the people of Japan. According to historical records, Yasuke was described as being much larger than other men and having skin as black as ink. He impressed Oda Nobunaga so much that the Japanese lord took him in and began training him in the art of combat. After a thorough training, Yasuke became part of Oda Nobunaga's personal guard and accompanied him in battle. He fought alongside Oda Nobunaga in several battles and displayed exceptional skills in swordsmanship and hand-to-hand combat. In one of the battles, it was said that Yasuke single-handedly defeated 18 of the enemy's samurai. This feat further solidified his reputation as a fierce warrior. Around this time, Oda Nobunaga's forces came into conflict with those of Takigawa Kazumasu. Yasuke played a significant role in the battle, displaying remarkable courage and skill in combat. During the battle, Oda Nobunaga's forces faced a critical moment when their leader was momentarily incapacitated. Seeing their lord in peril, Yasuke and another samurai named Shimazu, whose first name was romanized as Isabel, rushed to his aid. They managed to stabilize Nobunaga's condition, allowing him to recover and ultimately lead his forces to victory. This heroic action by Yasuke and Shimazu turned the tide of the battle in Oda Nobunaga's favor, contributing significantly to their triumph over Takigawa Kazumasu. Oda Nobunaga was so grateful for Yasuke's loyalty and bravery that he granted him the hereditary right to wear a samurai's topknot, a privilege usually reserved for those of noble birth. This recognition solidified Yasuke's status as a respected member of the samurai class and demonstrated Oda Nobunaga's appreciation for his exceptional qualities. Throughout his service to Oda Nobunaga, Yasuke remained steadfast in his commitment to his lord, earning both respect and admiration from his fellow samurai. Despite facing numerous battles and conflicts, Yasuke's bravery and martial prowess remained unwavering, making him a formidable warrior and a loyal companion to Oda Nobunaga throughout their shared journey. While Yasuke's military career was impressive, it was his personal relationship with Oda Nobunaga that truly set him apart. Oda Nobunaga was known for his eccentric and often ruthless behavior. However, despite his flaws, he had a deep respect for Yasuke and valued his friendship and counsel. One particular incident highlighted the depth of their bond. Oda Nobunaga had become increasingly frustrated with the slow progress of Jesuit missionaries in converting the Japanese nobility to Christianity. In a fit of rage, he ordered all the missionaries in his domain to be put to death. However, when Yasuke pleaded for their lives, Oda Nobunaga reconsidered his actions and spared the missionaries, demonstrating the influence Yasuke had over his lord. Their relationship, however, did not last forever. In 1582, Oda Nobunaga committed seppuku after failing to put down a rebellion led by one of his own generals. Before ending his own life, Oda Nobunaga requested that Yasuke take his head to a Buddhist temple. Although some sources claim that Yasuke refused to do this, saying he would instead bury his lord, others say he fulfilled the request. After the death of Oda Nobunaga, Yasuke apparently left Japan and returned to Macau. Not much is known about his later life, but it is believed that he continued to work as an interpreter and trader. Unfortunately, Yasuke's legacy was somewhat tarnished when in 1609 he was captured by the Chinese and accused of piracy. According to records from the Chinese government, Yasuke was involved in several acts of piracy in the South China Sea and was finally caught and imprisoned. As punishment for his crimes, the Chinese government forced Yasuke to build ships for the Chinese Navy. However, after serving his sentence, Yasuke was released, and he spent his remaining days in Macau until his death around the year 1615. The story of Yasuke is an amazing one. It shows how Africans have always been travelers and traders. Even during the days of slavery, Africans found a way to move past their boundaries and explore the world. Yasuke was a man ahead of his time. He was a black African man who fought alongside Japanese samurai in the 16th century. He was a warrior, an explorer, and a man of great courage. His story is a reminder that Africans have always been more than just victims of circumstance, and that our ancestors were indeed great men and women who have greatly impacted the world. Thank you for watching this episode. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more amazing stories. Also, check out these other videos, which are just as interesting. See you in the next one. Subscribe, like, comment to our Afrorize TV channel.